one. Welcome to Movie Life Crisis. Join us as we watch the best movies from 30 years ago.
The criminal in question, his accomplice in crime, a woman in danger, a partner in training, a hero in black. The adventure begins. Val Kilmer, Tommy Lee Jones, Jim Carrey, Nicole Kidman, Chris O'Donnell. Batman Forever. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, June 16th at a theater near you.
At a theater near you. Dude, is that Don LaFontaine or whatever his name is, the preview guy? That sounded like it, right?
Kind of.
I like when they do that.
I do too. I was just wondering, we've never talked about it. Maybe next time we interview somebody who knows stuff like that, we can ask them, like, I wonder who writes the voiceover stuff for when they do those, like, trailers. Because sometimes they'll do like 6 or 8 of them. Like, does the screenwriter do that, or just like someone at the studio? I mean, now probably like ChatGPT does it, but like back in the day, how did they do that?
Well, do they even have like voiceovers anymore? Like, I don't think they do. They just use dialogue from the movie.
Yeah, dude, you're the one who like has regular TV, like with commercials and stuff. I don't have any idea.
Yeah,
do they still advertise movies? Maybe they don't.
I totally pull up like new movies that are coming out and watch some trailers, and I feel like it's just a lot of words on the screen and then dialogue from the movie, which I think is how they do it now.
Yeah,
there's
I'm with that.
Once that dude died, they were like, we don't need to get another guy. But I think they tried for a while, because I feel like I remember somebody, not him, doing it. I don't know. I do like a nice old school preview like that, though. It's delightful.
Yeah, I'm into it. By the way, sorry, we're at Movie Life Crisis Season 5, Episode 3, Batman Begins to Return Forever with Robin. No, Batman Forever. The first Joel Schumacher Batman after the Tim Burton Batman movies.
Is it Batman?
I don't know.
Batmans. Didn't we have this discussion?
We have. We don't know the answer. I'm saying Batman.
I'll go with Batmans just to keep it different.
I'm Batman. They're Batmen. It doesn't matter. We now post videos because people have asked us to do that. Again,
why?
We're doing it for you. We don't know why. We think this is a worse version to consume because you have to look at us. But if you do see the video, you'll see me wearing like 3 jackets and a beanie because it's like 54 degrees in my studio right now. So if you do watch the video and you're like, dude, why is JT got so much stuff on? That's what's going on.
Meanwhile, I'm at home with my kids for the 3rd day in a row, and I'm just sniffing Sharpies over here to just feel something. It's very nice.
Yeah. So, the first Joel Schumacher Batman, after they do the 2 Tim Burton Batman.
Right.
The first one, Batman, 1989, Michael Keaton. It's freaking delightful.
Yeah, awesome.
Uncle Jack is playing the Joker. That's great. That's one of the best of all times. Yeah. Then we get Batman Returns.
Right.
With like freaking Christopher Walken and a bunch of weird stuff, and Danny DeVito's doing the Penguin.
Yeah.
And that was much darker. Doesn't make nearly as much money. Makes like $150 million less than the original Batman. And so the studio's like, McDonald's recalled the toy tie-in because the movie was too weird. It made a bunch less money. Burton is like, he's trying to make freaking Johnny Scissorhands with Batman. We don't like that. So like, he's out. We're going to bring somebody else in.
Yeah.
And then this is the movie that results. New Batman, new director, and Tim Burton produces.
Right.
But then we got all new other stuff.
Yeah. And in between there, and the reason I even saw this one in the theater, is that's when Batman the Animated Series comes out.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different type of Batsman. And I know that Schumacher was still trying to do the Tim Burton thing, but I think he was influenced a little bit by that Batman the Animated Series feel. Because there was a movie in there, too, the Mask of the Phantasm, which I really liked. Like that, to me, I think changed a little bit, too. Made it more... They were like, hey, look how many kids are watching this cartoon. We need to make it more family-friendly. It needs to be less dark. Which, and I'm sure we'll talk about it, Schumacher had a darker version that really went into Batman's psyche. But they said, no. Lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think it was one of the main things is like, hey, we got to sell more merch, and we need the kids to be excited about this. It can't be scary and weird.
Right.
Which is funny because the scariest, weirdest Batman are also my favorite and also the best. And they made tons of money when Christopher Nolan did them, you know, in the whatever 2000s and the aughts.
Yeah.
I hate the I guess that's what you say, but I hate that.
The aughts.
But again, we're from the late 1900s, so what do we know?
Right. So I don't know, man. I like the campy stuff sometimes, and I like how, like the old Adam West Batman. Like I like that campy feel sometimes.
The Adam West Batman and some of the animated Batman stuff that's full camp, I like, but that's like brightly colored. He's wearing freaking bright blue tighty whities with his gray tights underneath him. But when he's like all dark and it's all foggy and shit, and there's just like gothic statues everywhere, and then you throw some camp in there, it's kind of it's a little confusing to me.
Right. No, and that's a big thing that everybody didn't like about this one for sure.
Yeah, man. Get us a synopsis.
Synopsis: Batman battles the Riddler and Two-Face while grappling with his own identity and taking an eager sidekick, Robin.
Nice.
Yeah. I didn't find a explained badly thing on Reddit. I forgot to look that up. Nah, it's just all the same. A wealthy orphan with a fetish for bats adopts an orphan from the circus and fight a guy that's obsessed with puzzles. I don't know.
$100 million budget, $383 million gross. So this is the third biggest movie of 1995 behind Toy Story and Apollo 13. Tom Hanks coming in 1 and 2.
Nice.
Another
Tom Hanks should
solid
have played
year.
Batman.
Another solid year. He got offered it. He was one of the people considered. I can't imagine him as. I mean, that he can do anything, but I cannot imagine him as Batman. That would be super weird.
I do like thinking about it though. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's
But this movie, even though I think it's a very forgettable entry into the Batman film series, like that's happened in my lifetime, made up a whole crap pile of money.
Yeah. And I think it has the toyification or whatever you want to call it, where they market the hell out of it. It totally helped because there's like, like I'll talk about
McDonald's
spinoffs, but like the McDonald's and the
video
Kinder
games.
toys and the video games
all
and
that
the rides
stuff.
and stuff. Yeah. So
Awards.
It helped.
Let's do some awards.
Yeah, dude, it was nominated at the Academy Awards. It was nominated for cinematography, sound, and sound effects editing, but it didn't win any of them. But it did win Favorite Actress, Nicole Kidman, at the Blockbuster Awards. The Kids' Choice Awards, it won Favorite Actor, Jim Carrey.
Nice.
Best Video.
You think Nicole Kidman's got that Blockbuster Award anywhere in her house?
Yeah. I think it holds the door open to her silver closet.
Yeah, to her third master closet. Dude, she's won so many awards. I've got to imagine, like, what is this? The Orange Peanut? No, we don't need that.
Yeah.
We don't hang on that.
I don't need a Blockbuster Entertainment. I don't know, man. 96 Blockbuster was pretty big, right?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
Sequels and spinoffs, buckle up because we got a lot.
Yeah. Wait. What? I do have one more question that I saw in the awards thing. There was a BMI film. You know what BMI is. What is BMI?
Yeah, body mass index.
Yes.
Tells you if you're
the
too fat.
The BMI Film and TV
the
Awards.
Answer is yes. The answer is yes.
It says one most performed song from a film.
Kiss from a Rose?
Does that? Yeah, Kiss from a Rose. So, like, won the most performed song? I tried to click on it. Like, I was trying to find that. And it just kept showing me the answer.
BMI and ASCAP are the two big performing rights organizations that administer publishing rights for recorded music. So I'm guessing that's probably like back in the day they would track which songs got played on the radio. So I think they're probably saying like from songs from movies, this one got played on the radio the most.
Nice. Yeah, I could see that. Okay, cool.
Dude, it's wild the way they used to do it. Now they do it computerized. But back in the day, I think they would actually send people to different cities. Like, put them in a hotel room, and they would listen to the radio in the hotel room and just write down which songs got played.
Ew.
And that was how they tracked what your royalties were.
Oh, no. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Do you just extrapolate from there? Like, because, like, Hammond had its own radio station. Do you just guess?
No. Hammond did not have anybody visiting. They just would go to, like, New Orleans and Baton Rouge. And they would only listen to probably, like, an hour of the day and go, like, yeah, from here we're going to write checks to people. Like, dude, I hope I didn't catch the classic rock block and miss my money.
Oh, man. Wild Wayne at 9.
But honestly, man, I think Kiss from a Rose is maybe the biggest like impact of this movie because I just listened to that song in the truck like 2 days ago, and it wasn't because we were doing this movie. It's just because I like that song.
It's very, very good.
It came up on
really good.
it came up on a playlist where it was like an acoustic like remix of it. I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, and the weird thing is what's the other Seal song you like? Yeah, me either. I don't know. That's so weird.
I like the original Kiss from a Rose, and then I like the acoustic Kiss from a Rose that he did 20 years later.
Yeah,
his greatest hits album could just be those two.
When I pulled it up after watching this, and the kids and I made them listen to it, I pulled it up, and there's an original version, which is a little bit longer, and then the movie version, and then I also found an unplugged version. Like that was probably the acoustic thing that you're talking about.
I'll tell you what else.
Bops.
I've been bumping that song hard for 30 years, and I promise you I don't know all the words. Because there's still some parts where I'm like, what's he saying there? Not real sure. Just gonna confirm and deny.
It's on the
start
grave?
strong, finish
on
strong.
the grave.
Yes.
I don't what.
I remember the video though, directed by Joel Schumacher.
Yeah. It won an MTV Video Music Award.
Absolutely.
For best video.
Yeah, sequels and spin-offs.
They wrote novelizations for this, a regular one and a junior. I started reading the regular one, and it's too close to the movie. I don't like it, so I stopped.
Yeah.
I got it from the library.
Dude, we might have to just like skip sequels and spin-offs. You guys know they've made $9 billion
Batman
video games, board
25
games,
25
toys,
Batman.
comics,
dude,
movies, TV shows,
look,
animated
so
TV shows, radio dramas, freaking
you got
rides,
to. Six Flags in Texas, I think, had a stunt show, and somebody put it on. Like, it's from, like, the 90s. You could tell it's one of those big camcorders. Dude, it's so freaking just like the movie, and it's campy, and there's big explosions, and people are, like, you could see them being shocked in the crowd. It's way good. You should at least go check that out.
Nice.
But you're right. There was, like, roller coasters and freaking fireworks shows and video games and everything. Yeah.
It's Batman. Yeah, dude, you could sleep in Batman underwear, on Batman sheets, under a Batman comforter with a Batman pillow, and a stuffed Batman if you want to. We're not going to list all the tie-ins for Batman.
Yeah, dude, I'm with you.
Could, should, and do.
And do.
I don't remember seeing this, but I feel like I might have seen this in theaters because this is like
definitely
PG-13. I feel like this is one. It's summertime. This seems like, Dad, I want to see the Batman movie. Like,
right.
I got the Happy Meal toy. Let's go do that.
Yeah. I definitely saw this because, like I said, between here is the start of between the last one, which I didn't see in the theater, and this one, the Batman the Animated Series comes out, and they had Mask of the Phantasm, and I was like, that's a movie, and it's playing in Hammond. I have to go see it, and I didn't get to see it. It comes out like around Christmas or something, I think, and I didn't get to see it. And I wanted it really bad. And this was around the time where I stopped getting like a lot of candy and stuff in my Easter baskets. And I started getting like books and friggin' other things. And one of them
like
was the
toothbrushes.
Yeah. And one of them was a VHS of the Mask of the Phantasm. And I freaking loved it so much when I saw that this one was coming out. I can remember saying like, I gotta go. I gotta be a part of this. And freaking Val Kilmer, it looked kind of campy, and I love the old reruns. I used to watch it at my mama's house. Like, all of that to me is fantastic. I remember seeing it in the theater in Hammond.
Yeah, and I don't think did you guys have a theater that you typically went to? Because University was super close to your house, but like
it was. But no, but University was close to the house over by Southeastern. But like, growing up, the one by the mall was closer. So like,
yeah, but at this point in time, you guys are living.
What's this? Is 95. So yeah, we were living there. So we weren't by the mall.
Because we came from way out in the sticks,
right?
Like the suburbs. So we just went to whichever one it was playing at. But
right, us too. And like my dad, remember his shop was down the street from the one in Town and Country. So like, we were there all the time. So like, yeah, I don't even remember which one it was, but I do remember definitely wanting to see this. And calling the thing and listen to the guy say the times, getting it ready, and telling my parents. And
welcome to Movie Phone.
Right. Except it was an actual guy
for Town and Country. Yeah, we didn't have the Movie Phone guy. We just had someone in Hammond, like who's just.
Yeah, and he literally read all of them in a row. Like he said, all three theaters.
Yeah,
because they were all owned by the same people.
Speaking of, by the way, after we didn't do like a 95, like here's what's happening in the year because we didn't have time.
Right.
But I was thinking about it. 1995 is probably like. Is I think one of the peak years that me and you hung out because I'm a freshman at St. Thomas and you're a junior, and I can't drive, and we're doing swim team together. So this is me and you riding around in your mom's gold van a lot. This is
a lot. Right. Yeah,
because then the next year we're both still at St. Thomas. We still hang out all the time, but I have my own car, so we're not hanging out quite as much.
Right.
And then we've hung out friggin' for 30 years since then. But I'm saying like just in terms of like the most hours we probably spent together, this might be the year.
This is choking on a Cool Ranch Dorito biscuit. Like this is prime hangout time. Absolutely. So you don't know if you saw it in the theater?
No, but it seems like I would have.
Yeah, for sure.
This seems like one that I would have seen in the movies.
Absolutely.
All right. How'd you rate
it? Dude, you know how much I love Batman. For me, like, it's hard because I love Batman so much, and I like the fun Batman like this, where it's like weird and campy, and it's like Burton, but it goes less so. And I know the campiness is a little bit much, and it's hard to take him serious, though. Like, if Batman's going to talk to Superman or, like, Brainiac during the Justice League stuff, I can't, like, for me, I can't take him serious if he's so serious all the time. If it's too real, I don't like it. That's why the new, like, Robert Pattinson Batman was so hard. So for me, I put this one at an 8 because I like when they dial back the grit just a little bit. I feel like it was like a love letter to the Adam West Batman era, especially like Jim Carrey's Riddler, where he was going just hamming it up. I like how it's the tone of the animated series, but they didn't go in a serious direction. Dude, my kids can handle it. Is it a cinematic masterpiece? Freaking absolutely not. But I don't feel like it pretends to be, and I think it's not trying to be an Oscar contender. And I just like when a movie's fun to watch, and for me, this one was fun to watch.
Yeah,
and it's Batman. So I gave it an 8.
I also love Batman. I think Batman is like a really interesting superhero because he's just a rich guy. He's just obsessed with beating up criminals. I like that. He doesn't kill people. He's really smart.
Right.
Like, I think he's so much more interesting as a character than like Superman is, for instance. I love Batman. I love the X-Men. That's probably my favorite. Like, that's my people. This I think is the second worst Batman movie of my life.
So the one after this, Batman and Robin.
I think Batman and Robin is probably the worst. Although when we watch it in '97, I'll weigh in for sure.
Yeah.
But it just I just think this is a really low quality Batman movie. Like the Schumacher Batman movies, they're so far behind the Tim Burton and the Christopher Nolan ones to me.
Yeah.
And even the like Robert Pattinson one, it was all right. It was pretty good. Like I think Batman works as a dark movie. I mean, it should have some like levity, and I'm cool with some campiness. But I think this movie just felt like it was real schizophrenic. Like it didn't know if is it going to be campy, is it going to be dark. Like tonally, it's all over the place. There's way too many characters. There's way too many villains. There's just too much shit going on.
Right.
And it's too long.
Yeah.
And it had a bunch of action, but I was bored during the action. I was like, I don't even understand. I forgot why we're even fighting at this particular location.
Yeah.
Like the Riddler is one of my favorite Batman villains. He's so iconic. He's never been done well in a movie. This one is so freaking corny and over the top.
Oh man. And
like Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones were like in a totally different movie than Val Kilmer was.
Yeah.
And I mean, Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones are both great actors. I'm sure they were doing exactly what they were told, but I was like, I don't know who's in charge here, but this shit is confusing to me.
Yeah.
I also really like Robin, and he's never been integrated into a Batman movie in a way that I liked. I'm like, I'd love to see like an awesome Robin movie.
Yeah.
Like an origin story, you know. And I don't know, man. So I gave it a 5.5 because I was like, this is awful. I don't.
That's great.
I like all the people in it, but I don't know if it's the script or if it's the direction or if it's the production design or what. But I was just like, this shit is a confusing mess, and even the parts that are entertaining, like the action sequences, are boring and confusing to me.
So I wonder, like, remember how we were talking about Schumacher wanted a darker thing. So like all those times where friggin' Val Kilmer is acting kind of serious and telling what's his name no, and telling the lady girl that's you can't use the bat signal as a beeper, like shit like that. Like when he's being serious, And he's doing those things. I think that's what Schumacher wanted the movie to be. And then they were like, what if we let Jim Carrey just do his thing? And he went over the top, and that's why it feels that way. But also, I know a lot of people are like, man, that's like the Riddler playing the Joker. It's just too much. I don't know, man. That's what I kind of liked about it. I don't know. It was definitely over the top with the two villains and how they hammed it up. I don't know, man. Every time I've seen this movie, every time I'm always like, man, I can't believe they did this, and I don't know why I still like it. But I like the whole time I was watching it, I was like, Cece, watch this part coming up, watch this part. And like I was into it again. And yeah, it was long. I did feel, how long was it?
2 hours and 2 minutes. 122 minutes.
I felt like it got long at the end because I was watching it with Cece and she was just like, is this almost over? She didn't say it, but she was like making that face.
I feel like the third act had one too many action set pieces in it because the final one I thought was cool, but by the time we got there, I was like, freaking wrap it up, man. I got to get to the Big Apple. I got to go get some lunch. So like the one before that, but I mean, there were parts that were cool, but I was still like Robin takes the freaking Batmobile for a joyride, and then like I like some of that stuff, and I was like, I would like to see more of this, but in this movie, I'm tired of it. I want to. I want to just keep on trucking towards the end so I can go do other stuff.
I could totally see that, by the way.
And like when Val Kilmer drives the Batmobile up a wall, I was like, oh, that's right, I remember that. He freaking shoots the grappling hook and he drives it up a wall.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I felt like it was all over the place. And
It was.
Well, it's just way too many people. And I don't know, I get frustrated when it's like, dude, the Riddler's such a good Batman villain. No movie has ever done a good job with him. I don't know. Maybe it's really hard.
What about the Pattinson Batman? The Pattinson.
I thought that was
that
cool.
Riddler? That was Riddler, right?
That was Riddler. I thought that was cool. He kind of changed his name. They made him a serial killer, and like Batman's trying to track him down. But in the comics, he's been such a good adversary. And it may be that he works better if it is a campy movie. Maybe it's a better animated like villain because when you're wearing a freaking giant suit with question marks, like you're going to win money on TV. Yeah, it's kind of
or you're selling those books on the infomercial.
It does throw me.
Yeah.
But like I have no scenes and I have one quote. I just was like, dude, this shit is all over the place. In every single actor, I was like, I like that guy. They're doing a good job. I like that lady. She's awesome.
Yeah. It's just tough to pick them. Yeah, I'm with you. Well, give me your one scene then, and I'll tell you what mine are.
Oh, I don't have any scenes. I just have one quote.
Okay, cool. The Robin doing the laundry where he started spinning it around.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do that so bad. That's my first scene.
Why does Wayne Manor not have a dryer?
It has a dryer.
Why is
You're
he
not supposed to dry your clothes?
You
can't dry your clothes in a dryer. It makes them degrade faster. Everyone knows that. Even no. I don't know. But when he was spinning it around the mop and flinging it up there and then used the mop.
He was squeegeeing and he was like draining all the water out right on the floor. Dude, what, he was raised in a barn?
And it's like splashing on the walls and hitting the thing. That was my dude. When I think about this movie, that was my I wanted to do that so bad.
Yeah, I remember that.
Also, the part where my second scene is Two-Face is going to blow up the circus, right? He's got the big cartoon bomb filled with TNT with a clock ticking down, and he's asking for Batman to show himself so he could do the thing. And Val Kilmer stands up and he's yelling, I'm Batman, but nobody can
hear him. The crowd's like freaking out so no one can hear him.
All the commotion, nobody can hear him. That's one of my favorite scenes in all the Batman movies because he's like trying to do the right thing and it just doesn't work. It's too loud, and I like that.
Yeah.
So that was my second scene. And then my third one, it's kind of goofy. It's the Riddler walks up to Two-Face and says, hey, Two-Face, show me how to punch a guy. He's like, oh, it's dead simple. You ball at the fist, reach way back, assert yourself, and he punches the guy, and he goes, oh, that looks like fun. Let me try. He's like, ball at the fist, and he's like repeating it. Ball at the fist, and he freaking punches him in the face, and the guy doesn't even move. I don't know. I like that kind of stuff. Like that's the campy stuff I like.
I like that. The whole time I was watching the Riddler and Two-Face interact, I was thinking that how much Tommy Lee Jones hated working with Jim Carrey, and I was like, God, these guys they're doing so good. The whole time the Riddler's being like extra. Tommy Lee Jones is like grinning like a freaking maniac. I'm like, dude, these guys are good actors. They seem like they're having a lot of fun, like causing chaos in Gotham. And then as soon as it's cut, Tommy Lee Jones is like, I hate you. I'm going to my trailer.
I'll never again, and walk out. Yeah.
I was kind of wishing that I mean, I love Tommy Lee Jones, but I'm kind of wishing that Billy D. Williams would have gotten a shot.
Yeah. With the whole Tim Burton,
because he was Harvey Dent from the Tim Burton movies.
Yeah, we'll never know.
Yeah, dude, I like that one. I mean, there were no scenes the stuff that I liked is like the Riddler, and he's got freaking Nicole Kidman, and he's got Chris O'Donnell. He's got them both in glass cases of emotion.
Yeah.
And he's like, Batman has to choose. I like when they do stuff like that.
Right.
And then Batman's like, hey, guess what? I figured it out. I'm going to trick you, and then I'm going to save them both.
Right.
Like, I thought that was cool. If we could just put that like 25 minutes sooner in the movie,
right.
I would have been into it because I thought that was a good ending.
Yeah, I do like when they have to choose. That's good stuff. And he does them both. So what's your quote? You got one quote? What's your quote?
My one quote is not from the movie. It's from Tommy Lee Jones talking to Jim Carrey. And Jim Carrey said it in an interview, and I wrote it down because I just love it.
I think it's
Jim Carrey was like, Tommy Lee Jones didn't like working with me. He came up to me one time between takes and said, I hate you. I don't like you. I cannot sanction your buffoonery.
I cannot sanction your buffoonery.
I cannot sanction your buffoonery is an amazing quote. I was like, that's my quote for sure.
That was my bonus quote because I freaking love that he just walked out. Because apparently Jim Carrey was at a restaurant. And Tommy Lee Jones accidentally picked the same restaurant, and when he walked in, Jim Carrey walked up, or maybe it was vice versa. One was already there, and one of them walked up to the other and said, "Hey, Tommy," and he was just like, I don't like you, I hate you, oh man, and I cannot sanction your buffoonery is a fantastic way to end a conversation.
It is. It's great, but also if you see the 3 movies Jim Carrey does in 1994, and you sign on to play a villain in a campy Batman movie, and he's going to be acting next to you, what did you think it was going to be like? Yeah.
I think the way I felt it is it wasn't, I don't like your version of the Riddler. I just don't like your whole thing, man. I don't sanction any of your buffoonery.
But that's what I'm saying, dude. You took the job. You had to think. I can't imagine that Jim Carrey is doing anything on set or between takes that I would be surprised by. Having seen his work. So it's like you could have not taken the check. You could have done something different because you had to expect that's how that was going to go.
Got to take the check and then just ham it up and try to beat him in his.
But
own
sometimes
game.
Sometimes it's like like Kramer versus Kramer, freaking Meryl Streep and what's his name, Rain Man, Dustin Hoffman. Like one of them is like very method, very rehearsed, and one of them is very improvisational. Like Meryl Streep always wants to like have it locked down, and Dustin Hoffman wants to freestyle. They freaking hated working on that movie together in 1976 because they have completely opposite approaches to the craft of acting.
Yeah.
And Dustin Hoffman like slaps her at one point in time, which was not rehearsed, and she's like, "Don't be slapping me. That's not cool." And that's what my character would have done. It's like sometimes people just don't like. That's just not the right vibe.
Right.
But also that movie was amazing, and they both won a bunch of awards for it. But sometimes it works out. But like. I mean, it's kind of like this podcast. Like, I'm preparing shit, and you're like, hang on, I'll be there in a little bit. I haven't watched the movie.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
No, you've watched the movies way more in advance than I have. Like, we have a similar approach, which is that we just want to do it and then go get a snack.
Yeah.
But if you have the opposite approach to the same craft, I could see that it's like, this sucks. I don't like this at all.
No, absolutely. There's teachers that teach a different way than me, and I'm like, that's stupid. You're doing it wrong. Like I'm not Tommy Lee Jones, and I'm not gonna not sanction their buffoonery, but like for reals, like that's how I feel about it. That's why I totally wrote that down and wanted it on a T-shirt. Dude, so
you should put that on a T-shirt with Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face above it.
Yeah, it's a good idea. We'll sell hundreds of those, tens of them. We'll sell tons of them, tens. So I have 3 quotes. One is there's a part where Alfred calls Bruce Wayne, and he calls him on his little Dick Tracy watch. He's like, "I'm afraid Master Dick has gone traveling." I was like, "Oh, he ran away? Actually, he took the car. Oh, he boosted the Jag? Not the Jaguar, sir. The other car.
The other car.
The Bentley? He's
Bentley?
like, "No, sir. The other car."
Dude, he's standing there with Nicole Kidman, like in his Bruce Wayne outfit, and he's like he's freaking looking at a Dick Tracy watch, which is the first time Batman's ever had something like that.
Right.
And I love that Alfred's like, "No, the other car."
It's weird to me though that she wasn't like, "Holy crap, is that a tiny TV and a little watch? What are you, Batman?" Like that's crazy. That
she also didn't think that he might be Batman when he like kicked down her 11-foot tall door the first time they met.
I know,
and he's like wearing a freaking turtleneck.
It's hand carved mahogany. Like he just went right through that thing.
And she was like, "Don't you knock?"
Yeah.
And he's like, sorry, I thought you were in trouble. It's like, dude, the dude just kicked a door in. You're not.
Yeah.
You don't have some questions.
She was a kickboxer. She knew. He just hit it just right.
Yeah, dude, I loved that one when Alfred called him on his Dick Tracy watch and was like the other car.
The other casa. So the other one is when, to me, sums up perfectly Batman the character in whatever movie or book or comic you're reading. He's talking to Robin, and he's like, "Then it'll happen this way: you'll make the kill, but your pain doesn't die with Harvey; it grows. So you run into the night to find another face, and another, until one terrible morning you wake up and realize that the revenge has become your whole life, and you won't know why." That right there that's Batman to me. Like that when he said it, I was like, God, and the way Val Kilmer said it, I thought that was great. The other quote that I had
that's the stuff that I wanted more of, man. I really like the Batman and Robin. I think that's such an interesting dynamic.
No, I totally agree. And I think Schumacher probably wanted more of that, but those kind of quotes don't sell.
Well, I mean, the next
King
movie's
glasses.
called Batman and Robin, but I don't remember it all that well.
the
But I
bed
still
hard
feel
on
like
that
they
one, too.
didn't. Yeah,
No,
I
they
still feel like they didn't like get because they just jumped into the middle of Robin. Like Chris O'Donnell's like 25, his parents die, and the next day
he's not
comes over
supposed
to
to
the
be
Batman.
that old yet.
He's supposed
Like,
to be 10,
Right.
but the movie doesn't cover like 10 years, so they just went,
Right.
it'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, that leads me to my last quote.
I like that one.
That leads me to my last quote where he's talking to him, and he says, Bruce Wayne comes walking in, and he's like, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" He's like, "You got a real gratitude problem. You know that, Bruce? I need a name. Batboy, Nightwing." And I was like, "Oh, Nightwing? That's how old he's supposed to be when he's Nightwing.
Yeah.
Not as old as he is now playing Robin." And he's like, I just need a good sidekick name." He's like, "What about Dick Grayson, college student?" Like how he was trying his best not to put him into that life was fantastic, and he just didn't. He just wasn't feeling it.
That does remind me of, I like that bit, and that reminds me of a scene that I probably should have included, is when he first moves in, and he's like, "Hey, I'm out of here. I just wanted to get the police off my back," and Val Kilmer's trying to talk him out of leaving. He's like, "Dude, he's giving him the whole, like, revenge speech." He's like, "Whatever." He's like, "You don't know anything about this." And then he's like, and he finally like, "Your motorcycle's almost empty. Just come fill it up." He's like, "Just come in. There's no gas stations anywhere around here." And he walks into the garage, and he's like, all these classic cars, and Robin's like, "You don't know anything about motorcycles, you rich asshole." And he comes in, he's like, "Are these your motorcycles?" He's like, "That's a 1917 Harley Davidson. That's an original Triumph, whatever. That's an Indian."
Yeah.
And he's like, "That's a something something." He's, "They only made 100 of these." And Val Kilmer's like, 101 actually. He's like, "That one's my favorite." He's like, "There's another one there, but it's not working. The throttle's sticking." He's like, "Use someone to fix it. That person could certainly take one of these motorcycles as payment if they wanted to."
Right.
He's like, "But anyway," he's like, "all the best to you." He's like, reaches in, goes shake. He's like, "I'm sure you'll land on your
later.
feet."
Yeah.
And then Alfred comes in with a freaking tray with a hamburger on it. He's like, "Master Grayson," it's like, "if you're not interested in this, I'll go check on the dogs."
Yeah. That's great.
He's like, "Al, hold on a second." I like how they just rope-a-doped him into staying when he was trying to get out of there.
That was a good call. I like the Alfred in these movies. It's the same Alfred for the
Michael
4
Gough.
movies in a row. It's freaking
I got
great.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome.
All right, cool. So what are the characters? Who's your first?
My first was Val Kilmer.
Yeah, he did such a good job.
He and Joel Schumacher hated working together. Joel Schumacher was like, he was an entitled a-hole, and he didn't speak to the crew for like 2 weeks one time after I told him to stop being rude.
Yeah.
I don't think Val Kilmer's probably that much fun to work with, but I just like everything that he does.
Yeah. On top of that, though, he was also going through his divorce, which he had to finalize right before the movie came out. Like he was having a bad time, but I totally agree. He's probably not that fun to work with. To me, though, his bat voice, like the voice he uses as Batman, is one of the better ones.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I think he's a good. I mean, it sucks he's only in one movie. I feel like you kind of forgot. If you were listing Batman, you might forget him.
Yeah.
He and George Clooney both did like the one time.
Yeah.
But I think, dude, he's got like the jawline and like the style, and like he wears the thin glasses when he's Bruce Wayne. He's got like the perfectly like parted hair, but he's also like he's pretty good as Batman. He's got the voice. He's like kind of physical. He's not like Ben Affleck was freaking like huge.
Right.
But yeah, man, I think he's a good Batman. I wish he'd gotten another shot, like in a better movie.
I like how because I don't know. There's a bunch of people that are like, oh, I don't like it because it looks like he's making duck lips the whole time because he's wearing a tight ass cowl that goes around his face and smushes his mouth out a little. And then like, what's Christian Bale? Oh, I don't like him because he's mouth breathing. Or I don't like Ben Affleck because he's not using his actual voice. It's like modulating through a thing. Like I don't like just what I don't like. I don't know why everybody's so angry and all the like. What does it have to be? You know what I'm saying? Like I like.
Dude, who
him
are you talking to?
Batman.
What are those people? What are they?
Oh no,
like
I was.
If they just have complaints about it, like
exactly. No, that's my point. And these were the things I was reading on like. I don't know, Rotten Tomatoes maybe. It's like where the people are talking about it at the very end. I just, I don't know, man. Like, I liked him as Batman. I think you're right. He played a great Bruce Wayne. I like when freaking Jim Carrey tries to make himself look just like him, gets the haircut, puts the mole on,
dude, he even puts the fake
same
mole
glasses.
on. That's great.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And Michael Keaton, the studio knew they weren't going to have Tim Burton back because they're like, it's too dark, it's too weird. We couldn't sell any toys. He's out.
Yeah.
But Tim Burton stayed on to produce, and they were going to keep Michael Keaton as Batman. And they were like, Joel Schumacher came on, Tim Burton signed off on it. They're developing the story. Like, they have an idea that everybody's likes. And then Tim Burton decides he's going to go do whatever he's going to go do next. I forget.
Yeah.
But he's like, I don't want to go to any more meetings. I don't care. You guys do whatever. And then it started to kind of pivot away from what they had agreed to. And then Michael Keaton's like, I don't like this script or this direction. He's like, I think I'm going to go do other stuff.
Right.
Like Multiplicity, which is friggin' 2 thumbs up.
Thank God.
She's touched my peppy, Steve. And so Michael Keaton's like, no, thank you. You keep the $15 million. I'm going to go do Multiplicity with Harold Ramis.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right, we'll get a new Batman. We'll just find somebody else. And they offered it to 1 million people.
Right.
And it's all the people that you would expect. But Val Kilmer's freaking great.
Yeah. Dude, to be honest, like when he's playing Bruce, I feel like he's one of the more serious of all the Batmans.
Yeah.
Like I just,
like the whole thing when he's like touring the whatever Wayne Enterprises and he meets Edward, Jim Carrey before he's the Riddler, and he's like, and he's already unhinged, and And Val
Did you
Kilmer's
see who was
like,
in the background of that scene, by the way?
Ed Begley Jr.
No, that's the guy he's talking to. Did you see who his I don't know, bodyguard or something was walking behind him?
No.
Jon Favreau.
Nice.
I've rewound it like 3 times and like got my face really close. And then Jake goes, dude, I think that's Happy, Dad. I was like, it is. I knew it was.
Oh my God. That's
yeah,
amazing. There's the DC Marvel crossover that we've all been needing.
That's the one we wanted.
That's how you get Batman into the MCU. But yeah, like Jim Carrey's being unhinged and Val Kilmer as Bruce Wayne's just being completely composed. He's like, talk to me, Edward. And he's like shaking his hand. He's being all creepy. And he just goes like, I'm going to eventually need that hand back, Ed. He's like not upset about this guy being super weird and being like, you and me, we're the same. And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
and he gives him a chance, set up a meeting.
Yeah.
But he needs to know right then. That's where it all goes bad.
Yeah. And he's like, well, if it's got to be right now, then the answer is no. He's like, because messing with people's brains is not something that I take lightly. There's ethical implications. And he's like, all right, doodles. I'm out of here.
Deuces. Yeah, dude, I'm glad they picked Val Kilmer. So we said
my next character.
Wait, real fast. Did you see that they were the other people like one of the Baldwin brothers, Ethan Hawke, Keanu Reeves, like Keanu Batman? Like Tom Hanks,
Keanu Batman,
freaking Daniel Day-Lewis, Johnny Depp. Like I can't see
a lot
any
of people.
those guys. Yeah. I'm glad they picked Val Kilmer. Dude, I know we talked about how much you don't like him. Jim Carrey, I freaking loved how he hammed it up. I love me some Jim Carrey as Edward Nygma.
Dude, I'm sure he did exactly what he was asked to do, and it's exactly why you would hire him and cast him to be the Riddler. I thought that him and Tommy Lee Jones, like, tonally seemed like they were in a different movie than Val Kilmer did.
Than Val Kilmer.
And I don't think that's their fault. I'm not going to go like, that was one of my favorite Jim Carrey performances. Like, now that's maybe in the top 20, but not the top 10.
I felt like he was trying to be like Frank Gorshin, the guy, I think that's his name, the guy who played like in the old Adam West Batman.
Yeah.
Riddler. And I'm sure that had, like you said, Schumacher was telling him, But dude, I just freaking love how like he can play the guy in the beginning, where he's like gets rejected by Bruce Wayne, and you could see him slowly devolve into the Riddler, and then all the way to the end where he's just like, why can't I kill you? Like it's fantastic.
And as the movie went on, his costumes got more and more flamboyant. Like he was like, developing as the movie happened. Kind of cool.
Yeah, and those little things he kept throwing in the Batcave, where he like throws them, and as they're blowing up, he's doing the hip thrust, and then he turns around and throws. I love that kind of crap. It made it fun for my kid to watch too. So that's what I like.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is exactly the point.
What were they aiming for? Right.
My next one is Michael Gough, who returns as Alfred.
Kills it.
I'm not gonna hate on Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Master Wayne. But I just like Michael Gogh's Alfred. He's like the classic, maybe because it's just when I was a kid. Yeah. But he's in all four of these movies, in both Tim Burton movies, both Joel Schumacher movies. It's just him and Pat Hingle, who plays Commissioner Gordon, are the only actors that go through all four of those.
Yeah.
Which I think it's smart to have continuity in those like kind of minor characters when there's a whole bunch of directing changes and stylistic changes and three different Batman, but like those dudes are the same.
Right.
But he's just he's a textbook. He's perfect Alfred.
He's very good. I like his little glasses. I loved him when I looked up stuff for this movie. One of the YouTube videos that popped up was a Diet Coke commercial, and he's up in the Diet Coke commercial. I freaking loved it. He's a fantastic Alfred. I'm glad you picked him.
And he retired in like I want to say 1999, and he came out of retirement twice, and both times it was to do cameo stuff for Tim Burton. Like I think once in Sleepy Hollow and once in Alice in Wonderland.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's not around anymore, right? He's wicked old.
No, he died in 2011. He was 94.
Okay. Dang. It's a good run.
Good run.
It's a pretty good run. So I almost put him on there because I like his Alfred. Michael Gough's a fantastic Alfred. And I put Tommy Lee Jones because I didn't, for my third character, because I didn't know if we were going to get to talk about how much he hated Jim Carrey. And dude, like that article you were talking, or that interview you were talking about, the way Jim Carrey was explaining what happened was just great. And did you see, like, he was talking about, like, Dumb and Dumber comes out in 94, the same week as Tommy Lee Jones came out with Cobb. And that was like his passion project, and he threw everything into that. And then all of a sudden, it doesn't do well at all, and it's a huge flop, mostly because of Dumb and Dumber coming out that same week. He's like, maybe that's why he didn't like me. Like maybe, like, and I mean, I guess I could see that.
Cobb wasn't that good.
Yeah, no,
and Dumb and Dumber was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like Ty Cobb the person, so I can't imagine a movie about him would be awesome. But maybe I don't know. I haven't seen it. I don't know, man. I liked how he hammed it up. The whole time I was like, no wonder there's no sets left. Freaking Tommy Lee Jones is chewing this shit up. He is hamming it up, something fierce, just going to town. So
he was doing some buffoonery of his own.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Dude, it would be hard to be an actor for a bunch of reasons because I'm not good at it. But like, it would also be hard, like if you're really famous and you're Jim Carrey and you're getting $20 million a movie, and then you're working with Tommy Lee Jones, you're like, this guy's awesome. He's won an Oscar. He's like, I don't like you. I actually hate you. It's like, that shit hurt my feelings. Why? I thought we were just pretending to be someone else. Maybe just keep that inside and don't tell me that.
Yeah, don't do that. I think also, though, just like you said with Kramer versus Kramer, I know that they said Jim Carrey like just riffed a lot.
Yeah, dude.
So like, I'm sure.
I mean, he's
if you're Tommy Lee Jones, you don't like that. Yeah, no, I get it.
He's coming from In Living Color. Like, I don't think that's where Tommy Lee Jones came up. I'd have to go rewatch, but I don't think he was in there with the Wayans.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't. But I like Tommy Lee Jones, and he could play funny, and he can play those types of characters. I liked him in this. I thought him hamming it up was great, and I definitely wanted to mention how much they hated each other. And knowing that, watching it again is even better.
Dude, speaking of the Wayans, do you know who Robin was in Batman Returns? Do you remember?
Robin and Batman Returns?
Yeah, the movie prior to this, the Tim Burton Batman. It was Marlon Wayans.
There was a Robin in that?
Yeah, so Marlon Wayans was or at least was cast. But it says like he was cast. Where did I say it? Oh, Robin was in the shooting script for Batman Returns. And Marlon Wayans got cast, but then those scenes got cut.
Oh, now I feel like
they were talking about bringing Marlon Wayans back
in for this one for Robin. That would have been
since
good.
Since he got cast, but then cut for the movie before this.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that would have been kind of awesome. Not to mention Wayans and Jim Carrey connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. My third character was Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman.
I just did. I mean,
Dr. Chase Meridian.
Dr. Chase, like she's not from the Batman comics. They just invented her for this script so that he'd have a love interest.
Right.
That was like a psychotherapist. And like her character didn't make any sense to me. I thought Dr. Chase was an absolute freaking crazy person.
Right.
But Nicole Kidman was great.
Right.
And she's a good actress, and I'm glad she was in this.
Yeah. You saw because this character was written in the first version of it when Michael Keaton was still there, and they were going to have Rene Russo play her.
They're going to have Rene Russo, and then when Keaton dropped out and they cast Val Kilmer, they're like, Rene Russo's too old. We got to get somebody different. First of all, that's
crazy.
asinine. But I do like Nicole Kidman, and I'm glad she was in this.
Absolutely. The only other thing I had under Jim Carrey that I forgot to mention, did you see who lobbied for the role but got turned down?
No.
You probably recognize his name. His name, I don't know how you say it. I think it's Michael Jackson. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He lobbied hard to play the Riddler in this movie and then got turned down.
Nice.
I can't even imagine what this movie would be like with Michael Jackson as the Riddler.
Dude, that's a much more Tim Burton move where it's like, what the? But this movie has so many people in it. Like Val Kilmer, Tommy Lee Jones, Jim Carrey, Nicole Kidman, Chris O'Donnell. We've talked about all them. Michael Gough as Alfred, Pat Hingleback as Commissioner Gordon. But then as the mayor of Gotham City, George Wallace. Drew Barrymore and Debbie Mazar as Sugar and Spice, Two-Face as freaking, chicks. Ed Begley Jr.
Did you catch the hookers?
Yeah, the girls on the corner when Robin's joyriding in the Batmobile, freaking In Vogue.
In Vogue. That's freaking great. I was like, wait a second, I know that. I was like, I had to look it up too because I don't want to just guess because that's like, I don't want to be prejudiced because they wrote a song about it. You want to hear it?
Want to hear it? Here it goes. They were going to give him something he could feel, and they're like, you're not Batman.
Freaking. They were like, my lovin', never going to get it.
You're never going to get it. Writer-director stuff. Joel Schumacher is the director. I was looking through. The only thing I know him from is these movies because I'm like, dude, he did like St. Elmo's Fire, Lost Boys, freaking The Client, A Time to Kill. But
he did Falling Down. We almost did
Falling
that
Down.
Dude, he wrote The Wiz and Car Wash.
That's a pretty great credit.
And Sparkle. Like those predominantly black movies I had no idea that Schumacher wrote. And then I started like reading about why he wrote that, and he was talking about how like he has a personal fascination with Jesse Jackson and Tammy Terrell and who's that? Like he's like all about those prominent black people in the spotlight, and he decides to write these things. He wanted Sparkle to be like Gone with the Wind. I mean, it just didn't have the money to do that. But like, dude, all of those movies, every time I think about them, I'm like, oh yeah, this is probably a movie written by and for black people, and it was written by little Joel Schumacher, and I think that's freaking great. I had no idea.
Dude, a gay white guy from New York City.
Yeah. Time to Kill wasn't my jam that much, but I could see why it's a big movie. And like 8mm, also kind of weird, but like I could see.
There's some stuff on here that we might do on the podcast, but there's just
stuff.
It's nothing that I'm like. Oh, dude, that movie's great. I'm like, we might end up
number
doing
23
some of this,
with
there's nothing.
With Jim Carrey. That's the next time they work together. Number 23. Oof. That one was weird. Schumacher's also the guy who put the bat nipples. And what's the thing that goes in front of the crotch in like
cod
tights
piece?
Back in the cod piece?
The cod piece.
Yeah. You could tell it looked like
Yeah,
a
and
Ken doll. I like
he
that.
said that it was based on like Roman soldiers, like centurions designs. The costume designer said that, but then
Nice.
for the next movie, they make him even more prominent. There's a bunch of like stuff for Batman and Robin. We'll talk about in '97, where it's like the movie got kind of homoerotic. There's a lot of like long shots of Batman's ass, and George Clooney.
Yeah,
who's
there
the
was one of
Batman
those
that
in here.
movie's
Yeah,
like,
almost.
I was like,
Yeah.
Joel Schumacher told me on the set that Batman's gay. So that would be a fun one. Yeah, we get the first bat nipples in the cod piece, but in '97 they're way worse. And because that movie does so bad, people are like, the frickin' nipples, man! I can't take my kid to see Batman's nipples. It's like, you already did that. It's not that. Writers.
Oh man, it's not the nipples.
There's 3 writers credited. The only one that I recognized was Akiva Goldsman, who wrote stuff like I Am Legend and like freaking A Beautiful Mind, which he won an Oscar for.
Yeah. And he Da Vinci Code. He did all those.
Yeah. So he's
I like
he's a
iRobot.
good writer. Yeah, iRobot. I like that too. He got in a stretch there. He was just adapting stuff. Like if you look from like 1998, he's like. Beautiful Mind, I think, is an original script, but then iRobot is an adaptation. Da Vinci Code's an adaptation.
Right.
I Am Legend,
Da Vinci
adaptation.
Code.
Angels and Demons, adaptation. Divergent, adaptation. He's just like Dark Tower. He's just writing scripts, but he's adapting them from published materials.
From
Good work if you can get it.
Yeah, dude. The screenplay, the other 2 people, the husband and wife team. The only other movie they've done that I recognized was Pompeii, because I teach about Pompeii, and while it's not like I can't show the whole movie, when you want to show like what it looks like when a thing explodes and takes over a city, it's really great. It's got a lot of CGI stuff. So I want to throw that out there. The husband and wife team made that. Yeah. Make some elephant toothpaste or whatever they call it.
Yeah, man. Let's do worst.
Yeah, the whole thing for you.
Yeah, I mean, not the whole thing. There's parts that I liked. I kind of already talked about it. It's just like,
right.
It's schizophrenic. It's tonally all over the place. There's way too many
It's all over
characters.
the place.
And there's parts that
That's
I liked.
what I
We just
put.
didn't we didn't do a lot of that.
Right. I did the for my worst scenes was just how different they were. Like to go from serious Batman to freaking crazy. It was a lot.
Well, looking at the IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes reviews, everybody, like the critics and the viewers, are all around 5 out of 10, and I was at 5.5. So it seems like that's.
Yeah. No, you got it. You nailed it right where everybody else was. I did something about it. I just really always liked, so that's why.
But all the complaints are like the
more.
same stuff that I was saying. Like this thing's really all over the place. And I think the only, old tech, it's Batman, so half the shit's made up. But the political
I did have
correctness,
to explain when he said.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying the back signal is not a beeper. CC did say like, "What's a beeper?" Because I was laughing at that. Then Jake tried to explain it, which was way funnier because he didn't really know what it was either.
Yeah, dude, that sounds great.
So that's definitely a thing. Also, he says, "This is your brain in the box. This is my brain in the box." Does anybody else feel like a fried egg? You have to be a certain age to even get that reference.
To remember that this is your brain on
Like
drugs.
Your brain on drugs.
Commercial.
Yeah.
You, all right?
Yeah.
I learned it by watching you. Parents who use drugs have kids who use drugs.
God,
Brought to you by the Commission
how do
for a
we
Drug-Free
remember
America.
that?
Because they freaking showed
that's
it on
like-
TV all the time, and now I've probably forgotten something important like Avogadro's number from chemistry, and I have that shit in my head instead.
Important.
I've got the number,
Avogadro's
6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. I just don't know what it means.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
missing
something about
important
moles or
information
something,
about
isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely. Is my mole okay? Mole.
I have a mole.
Political incorrectness. The only thing I was going to say is Marlon Wayans was Robin and Billy D. Williams was Harvey Dent in the Tim Burton movies, and they recast both of them with white guys.
Yeah, I my whole thing that I put is I just feel like I know they need a love interest for anybody to go watch it, but I didn't like how they just had Nicole Kidman there for a love interest. She could have.
Yeah, dude, she was kind of random. She didn't
flesh that out a little more. Yeah.
And then the thing that did for me is it meant there wasn't as much time to like develop Debbie Mazar and Drew Barrymore. They didn't just they just showed up and were just said weird shit. Like they could have done more stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I like both of them too.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Let's do 5 questions. Is it okay for kids?
Nice. I don't know. My daughter's 7. She enjoyed it. as much as I did, probably because I was clapping my Dorito-stained fingers together the whole time we were watching it. It was fantastic. But I would say if your kids aren't used to it, I'd say 10. Because there's some...
Yeah.
Robin's family dies, and they fall to their death. And it can warrant some caution. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. Would this movie get made if it were pitched now? I mean...
They're gonna make so many more Batmans.
They're gonna make so many.
Batmans.
I'm for it. It's the same. We talked about it with Star Wars. Like, dude, make a lot of them. Some of them will be shitty, but I'll watch those once and I won't watch them again. But every once in a while, maybe somebody will do something great.
Something awesome. And hey, can it be can you have a campy Batman and a serious Batman? Like, I don't know why it can't have some of both.
I feel like the live action would be
happier.
hard. Would be hard to be serious because everybody alive now knows about the Nolan Batman and probably also the Tim Burton Batman. So I think if you did a campy live action Batman, it'd be kind of weird. Like the whole DCU is pretty dark.
It's getting darker, as they go.
But I think if you do it animated, you absolutely can. And I think they have. I haven't seen all of that, but like Lego Batman and some of that stuff.
Some of those new ones are kind of campy. Yeah, they even bring back the pow and zoom when they punch people, which I like.
And would it be a movie or a TV show? I really want to see the Robin story done well, and I think that probably needs to be a TV show.
Could it be like they call it, I don't know, Nightwing, and they do it like The Flash or like Green Arrow or like one of those DC TV shows?
Yeah, dude,
They
I think
just
that'd be
slowly
cool.
get into it. That's what they need to do.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Dude, what about recasting?
I mean, there's been like
Battinson.
There's been like 8 Batman in my life. They have all done an okay job.
Yeah,
I guess they're doing another with
guess you
Pattinson.
can
I'm pretty
just
sure that one's already happening.
yeah. That's why I said if I had to recast it, I guess I'd just give it to him.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be Batman Part 2. Comes out in 2 years.
Nice.
So yeah, we're kind of set on that one. Can you still watch and enjoy this in
Right.
2025? I mean, it's fine.
I liked it. If you like campy fun, like if you can turn your brain off and you don't need it to be like the most solving puzzles he has to do is do riddles that are in a riddles book written for 8-year-olds. So like that's the hardest thing he has to figure out, and he figures those out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So like,
Dude, I'm so bad
think
at riddles.
I like it.
he was like reading them. I was like, I don't have any idea. The movie would be over right now because I can't. Like the one
Jake
one about the
figured out the clock.
It's like,
Yeah, he figured that out.
I have all the stuff on the face, but I don't go to 13. I was like, clock, nailed it. But then after that, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Matches
Yeah,
and
he didn't
pawn.
get
I was
the
like,
rest.
dude, I'm done. If the internet doesn't know
but,
this,
like,
I'm out.
I was trying to I paused it and tried to give them hints, and they were like, I don't know, fire? I was like, yes, what do you start a fire with? A lighter? I was like, no, like, what do you, like, you get them from hotels? No, wait, you don't get them from hotels anymore. You get them from, like, bars in there? No, you don't get them. Like, nobody has matchbooks anymore, so, like, it's really
Dude,
hard
restaurants
for
have
them to get
matchbooks. Every time we go to a restaurant that they have matchbooks, Wendy's like, I'm going to take a bunch of these with me. I was like, that's great. We have, like, a lifetime
didn't-
supply at the house.
that. That's so weird, because McDonald's has never given me any matchbooks.
No,
I don't
it's way too
really
dangerous.
frequent. Yeah, I don't go to restaurants like that, really, anymore. Those are the days.
So yeah, 2025. I could miss this. It's streaming on Max, so that's cool. I don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, in 4K.
But I mean, if you wanted to like do like I'm going to watch all the Batman movies, I could skip the Schumacher movies, and I don't feel like I've lost much.
Dude, bring me the campy, nostalgic ride and inconsistent tone just so I can watch it again. I like it.
Yeah. So good thing is all the Batman stuff is streaming on Max, so you don't have to rent it if you have Max. It's not free, obviously, but yeah, if you're already paying for a thing, or you can rent it. I think probably elsewhere. I didn't try since we're just out here making it rain on streaming services.
Yeah.
All right.
Which I don't like.
Thank you guys for
anymore.
listening. Next episode on the main feed will be Outbreak.
Nice. Just in time for H1N1 2B to hit the streets.
Yeah, dude, I feel like this may be the first. This may be the first Cuba Gooding Jr. movie that we've done.
Yeah, probably.
Which I'm excited about. I love that guy.
Yeah, I love. Me too.
And then also Patreon. We just did Lethal Weapon. We'll have something else coming out on Patreon in February. Still TBD. But if you have Patreon requests for 1987, hop in Discord and let us know what they are. You can do a free 7-day trial, or you can support the arts for $5 a month. Get the bonus content.
Support the arts. I still can't. I just fucking support the arts. Come on.
I know. It's great.
It's great. It's great. What else?
I think that's it, man. Bye con Dios.
That's it. Via con Dios.
Thanks for listening to Movie Life Crisis. Please subscribe, rate, and review, and remember, don't drive angry.